for Great Britain! So this is what they're shouting to me. So it's 2011 and I'm out in Beijing representing Great Britain and I've just done a triathlon. To be honest, I've not done the whole thing. I've done the swim section, the bike section, and now I'm on the run section. So I'm running as fast as I can. And I'm running along as fast as I can. And I'm looking straight behind me because there's the American guy and the French competitor chasing me down. But I'm thinking, no, I don't want to give in. I'm looking straight ahead. And as I come around the final corner, I can hear everybody cheering my name. And they're shouting, "Go on, Steve!" And I'm thinking, well, this is great. And I start smiling because I can hear my name being shouted. But then I realise that as I'm smiling, I can't breathe as well. And I suddenly realised, okay, I need to stop smiling and just concentrate on breathing. So I was saying, right, stop smiling, just concentrate. And then I see ahead of me, as I come around the corner, I see that thing that I've been working towards. My goal, my dream, my vision, the finish line. I start getting really nervous. I think, oh no, okay, Steve, stop smiling, don't be nervous, just concentrate. I'm running as fast as I can. I'm thinking, yes, go faster. And I come to the finish line, and I'm going, yay! As I cross the finish line, I turn to the crowd, the audience goes, saluting them almost. And as soon as I cross the finish line, I've got this medal. I've got it here. This medal's put around my neck straight away. I thought, wow, that's cool. Now I've got a picture of this. Let me just share the screen. So across the finish line, I got this medal. I was like, wow. I thought, wow, did I win? Is it gold? Is it silver? It's very shiny. And I was trying to read the writing. And the thing is, trying to read the writing, it's all in Chinese. And I thought, okay, I don't understand that. So I looked on the back and it's got some more writing. I thought, okay, so I read it and it said, it says finisher's medal. I thought, it's a finisher's medal. And I looked around me and, well, everybody had them. Everybody had a finisher's medal. But then I suddenly realised that I was hugging this medal really tightly because this medal meant so much to me. Well, not only was I representing Great Britain and all the way out in Beijing, and not only had I just done a triathlon, which is amazing in itself, but 9 years before this photo was taken, I was told that I may never walk again. And so that's the story, the journey that I want to share with you today. But I understand it's a fun day. It's not all about me. It's about you. It's about you guys. So I want you to start thinking about what your gold is. That's what I would call it, your gold. Gold stands for like your goal, your opportunity, your love, your desire, your dream. What is it that makes you happy? What are all those things? I want you to start thinking about those because as I go through my journey, I'm going to be asking you to take note and take the messages on board. But your goal can be various things. It can be emotional, physical, financial, intellectual, occupational, environmental, social, spiritual. I know your kids, but you still got a lot of things that what do you want? What makes you happy? So have a think about that. And obviously it's not just for the kids, it's for the families, so the parents, the carers. You can join in this. Think about what makes you happy. What would be your gold? And then we can start working towards it. Okay, enough about you. It's back to me. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I've always loved running. This is me as a kid. I'm the one on my right, 273. There in the pictures also my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister, even the dog is there. And we would run everywhere and everywhere. Now also what I loved doing was scouting. I love those badges that I got for scouting, setting goals and working towards. Does anybody go to scouts or guides or anything like that? I think it's a really good charity that you can go to and get fun, challenge, adventure, life skills and opportunities. Now, when I left school, I worked down the coal pits of Yorkshire. So as an engineer, we were given problems all the time and I had to find solutions. I couldn't lean on my excuses. I had to find solutions for those problems. Now, through my young adult years, I carried on running because I loved to run. That was my thing. That's what made me happy. So this takes us all the way up to 2002. I'm driving on the outskirts of Sheffield. It's a rainy day. The rain's coming down quite hard. And as I'm driving along, my car skids and I lose control. And I can see that there's a pole coming up to me. And all I can do is grip onto the steering wheel tightly. Then suddenly, bang! The car crashed. And everybody came there to save me. The police, the fire brigade, the ambulance, everybody, the paramedics. And it took them a long time, it took them over an hour to cut me out of the car and put me in a nearby waiting ambulance. Along with my legs were both crushed at this point, and it was just a horrible situation. When I got to hospital, they did their best. Of course they did. They took me into the operating theatre, and they said that they would do their best to help me. 8 hours later, I came out of that operating theatre, and I felt terrible. Let me show you a picture. So I came out of the operating theatre, And I felt really groggy. I felt down and out, just exhausted. And it was around this time when the surgeon was doing his rounds, and he came over to my bed. He said, "How are you feeling, Mr. Judge?" And I said, I feel terrible." He said, "I don't want to let you know that we did manage to save both of your legs, but because of the severity of your injuries, you may never walk again." I think when somebody tells you information like that, it's very much like a fight or flight. So you could two things. You can either flight, run away, and I guess I could have rolled over in bed and just given in. But there was something inside me that was fighting. I wanted to fight. I thought, who are you to have the audacity to say that to me? You don't even know who I am. And I was ready to do anything and everything to get myself standing again and walking again. But this was going to be very, very hard. I had a long way to do. And let me explain my injuries. My bone in my right leg, well, my left leg had been ripped apart at the knee. So all the ligaments had been ripped out of my knee. My right leg was even worse, it was partially amputated, which means that a piece of bone had been taken out. Now I'm going to show you a slide, not yet. So I'm going to show you a slide, an X-ray. So if you don't want to look at it, just look away. Usually I say, show me your hands if you want to see it. So I imagine that a lot of people want to see it, especially the kids. They always like to see a little bit of gore, but there's no blood. Okay, you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So there's my X-ray. You can see on the X-ray the piece of bone that was taken out. That's the 4 inches of bone that was just thrown in the bin. And then they squashed the bones together to make my leg whole, and they put a big metal cage around that. Now, do you want to see the metal cage? Of course you can't answer me, but I'm presuming that you do want to see. This is a photo. Again, no blood, but it's a little bit gruesome. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there's the photo. So you can see here the metal cage that wraps around my leg, holding it all together. And it's my responsibility to twist the bolts on that cage day after day after day, slowly stretching the skin and the muscle and the ligaments, and actually wrenching the bone apart to form a gap of 4 inches. And that's what I had to do. Now, this sounds like I'm a Superman of some description, but it's not. It was very hard for me. I was going through a lot of tough times, and I found this diary entry that I wrote. This is about a month after the accident. And the bit that I've circled says, "Today was a good day because today was the first time I didn't cry." I cried every single day. But the question, why? Why me? Of course, there's no answers to things like this. But I was just so upset. I couldn't believe what was going on with my life. I had to pick myself up. I was at rock bottom, my rock bottom. And there's a lot of negativity around, in hospital. There's a lot of people suffering and ill and even dying. And I needed something positive to hang on to. Now, much as I was writing a diary day by day, one day I didn't write something. Instead, I drew something. And this is what I drew. I drew this picture of me up on a mountain somewhere with my crutches thrown to one side. I was standing again. I was walking again. And I believed that I could get there. Now, looking at that picture in the hospital bed, that was really nice for me to see that vision. And I thought, that's what I want to do. And by looking at that, I was like telling my brain that that's what I will do, not want, but I will achieve that. I will grow my leg back. I will stand again, and I will walk again. I came up with this motto, this mantra, I guess. Be aware of your vision and seize opportunities, because the vision is there. I drew the picture. The opportunities are everywhere. They're with the physio, they're with the doctor, the surgeon, they're with my friends, my family, asking for help. And it's the same for you. Think about what you want, your gold, as I would call it. As long as you know what you want, there are opportunities on your journey. You got to see them, hear them. You got to smell them. You got to grab hold of them with both hands. Now, I went through my physio, my rehabilitation for many years. And, I was involved in lots of rehabilitation exercises, including walking around a park, putting one foot in front of the other. And that was really, really hard for me, really challenging. But that's what I needed to do to achieve my goal. And sometimes I fell. And many times I cried. But eventually, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, after a year and a half, my bone, it did grow back in my leg, and the cage was removed from my leg, and I was able to stand again and walk again. And I achieved my goal, which is what I really wanted. But along that journey, I came up with another message, because there's lots of things that get in our way. Of course there are, when we're doing all these things. So the message that I came up with, and one that I want to share with you, is don't lean on your excuses, but turn your excuses into challenges. You know, there's going to be times when you're really struggling. You've got to see those barriers that are in front of you as excuses. And if you can, turn those excuses into a challenge and rise to that challenge. Work out how you can smash through that barrier, maybe by asking other people to help you. But some way or another, you've got to get through that barrier, that excuse, and move on. Now, that brings us to 2008, I think it was. And, you know, I'd done a lot of things. I was thinking about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. And I was pushing myself. And people were saying, Steve, you're always pushing yourself. Have you always been like this? And I was like, well, I don't know. I always like to set challenges. They said, well, were you like that at school? I went, not really. Were you like that at work? I said, not really. And they said, what about any hobbies or anything? I went, oh, yes, scouting. I love scouting, you know, with the badges that go down your arm. So I remember thinking about that, and I remember going into the loft, and I was looking for some old photos of when I was a scout. So let me share this photo. And I found this photo that I found up in the loft. And this is me when I was about 10 and a half years old. And you can see the 3 badges that I got on my arm. And the 3 badges that I ever got, the first 3 badges I ever got, were swimming, cycling, and running. And that compelled me to find a new challenge, a new thing to do. I came down and I went on the internet, and I found this thing called a triathlon, swimming, cycling, and running. No, I hadn't run for 7.5 years, but now I had a goal. Now I could work towards it. And it was difficult. Of course it was. It was challenging. You know, when I ran for the first time, every time, to be honest, the next day I couldn't run because I was in so much pain. So I thought about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. And so the next day I swam. And the day after that, I was still in pain from the running. So I cycled. And the day after that, the pain had gone. And so I ran again because I love to run. And so that's how my training went: swim, cycle, run. This is day after day, leading up to the triathlon. The triathlon was down at a local park near to me. Going down there, meeting para triathletes from around the UK. These are amazing people, missing arms, missing legs, visually impaired or completely blind, doing a triathlon. So we get in the water and we're waiting for the horn to go off. And we're waiting. And then suddenly it goes off. It goes, we're swimming as fast as we can, high elbow, reach line, swimming, and then we come out of the swim, and I get my bike, and now I'm cycling. So I'm cycling along fast, and going round and round the park. It's about 20 kilometres. As I come off the 20th kilometre, I wrap my bike, and I'm winning in my category. This is amazing. So after that, I then start the running, and I'm running as fast as I can. I'm looking over my shoulder, I'm thinking, right, okay, keep going. I'm looking straight ahead, and I come around. There's only a local park, but there's still loads of people cheering me on. And come on, Steve!
Go on, Steve! Go on!
And I come through the finish line, and I was just so ecstatic. I was like, yes! And I was just so pleased. My family were there, and they were like all clapping and cheering. And as I got through the finish line, I picked up my son Robert, and I hugged him, and I had tears rolling down my face of what I had achieved on that day. You know, they said to me that I wouldn't be able to walk again or stand again, but here I was doing a power triathlon. It was so amazing. But when I talked about opportunities, there were opportunities. People said to me, they said, Steve, you're a British champion now. You know, you could represent Great Britain. Would you like that? And I was like, hell yeah, I would love that. That would be awesome. The thing is, I knew about achieving goals and about setting them. So the first thing I needed to do was draw a picture. Okay, so I got my pens and papers out, and I drew this picture of me representing Great Britain, not just doing the European Championships, but the World Championships. That was what my goal was, and that's what I wanted to work towards. Having this picture and put it somewhere where prominent, like on the fridge or somewhere in the bathroom, so I could see it every single day in my bedroom. Then I could see my vision every single day. And I was willing to grab opportunities by getting coaches, by training hard early in the morning, in the middle of the day, and late at night. So that brings us all the way up to Beijing 2011. So here we are, meeting all the power triathletes from around the world this time. This time we're coming up to, we get announced in. It's just an amazing, amazing scenario as they announce your name. Then they get to the meeting, and then you can hear your heartbeat. And you're waiting for them to say, on your marks.
On your mark!
And then it goes, ah! And you swim as fast as you can. They come out the swim, and I was winning in my category against the rest of the world. I grabbed my bike, so I'm cycling on, cycling, going round about 20 kilometres. I wrap my bike, and I'm winning in my category still. But now I've got 5K on the run. So now I set off running. I'm looking behind me for the American, the French guy. I'm looking straight ahead as well, concentrating. And as I come around the final corner, that's when everybody's cheering me. They're shouting, "Go Steve! Go GB!" And I'm running, and then smiling a little bit. But I realize I can go a little bit faster as I'm running. And then I can see the finish line, my goal, my vision. And I cross that finish line. And on that day, as I crossed the finish line, or later on the podium, I did get the gold medal. Ta-da! And it's just an amazing experience. I remember standing there, on the podium. What an amazing moment for me to stand on the podium and see my flag being lifted with the national anthem being played. Just such, celebration of my accolade that I'd achieved and all the hard work that I put into it as I achieved my goal. My gold, as I will call it. So, after I retired from international competition, I've now gone back to scouting because that is what I love to do. Bring the fun, the challenge, the adventure, life skills and opportunities. Obviously, we're doing it on Zoom at the moment because it's all online, but you never know where those badges are going to take them. I thought about what I wanted in life, and so I wanted to be a motivational speaker, and so I drew a picture. And you can see here's me doing a few small gigs, but I really wanted the big stage with a big blue suit and a big lights and a big microphone and everything like that. The thing is, I knew at this stage that I had to be aware of my vision and seize opportunities. Be aware of my vision. I had to draw the picture. I drew that picture. I had a look at that. I worked towards it, grabbing opportunities all the time. And now here I am as an international motivational speaker, speaking at schools, colleges, universities, corporations, anywhere and everywhere, helping people, inspiring others, and motivating many. As a speaker, a lot of people say, what's next? Or have you, great stories, Steve, have you got a book? I thought, I haven't got a book. They said, you need a book. I said, I haven't got a book. Well, you need to write a book. Okay. So I set writing a book as my goal. I've never written a book before, but now, look at this. Now I've got a book, my autobiography, aptly named, Don't Lean on Your Excuses. And this is one that I'm going to be giving away. I think it's on the raffle, included in today's celebrations. So I'm so proud of that. I mean, to say that, not only have I written a book, but now I'm an author. How cool is that? That's awesome. So they're also thinking about what else I can do. How can I help people? So I now run workshops. I run workshops on presentation skills called Stagecoach GOLD. I do the wave of resilience, about how I use the wave of resilience to overcome, and how other people can, so they can achieve what they want to. The big one I do is the vision, your gold. And this is talking to people about what their vision is, what their goal is. I do adults, of course, and corporations and workshops like that. But more importantly for you guys is I do schools. So I come to the school and we do the presentation, and then we do a little mini workshop where I get you to draw the pictures. So you draw the picture of what you want to achieve, where you are now and where you want to be. So that brings it over to you. What is your goal? What do you want? What is your goal? What is your opportunity? What is your love? What is your desire, your dream? So here's the challenge. I want you to actually draw what your goal is. So I would use this scenario where you've got two sides of the page. You draw where you are now. Okay, so it could be at school, could be you doing a hobby or something, could be you at home. But more importantly, on the other side, you draw where you want to be. And I want you to make it big and colourful and lots of detail. The more detail you put in, the more your brain will recognise it. The more your brain will recognise it, then the more you can believe it and achieve it. I've got some examples here from other sessions that I've done. So here you can see this person's drawn where they are now. They love watching Doctor Who, and they also like cats. Okay, so that's on the left-hand side. On the other side, on the right-hand side, big and colourful, they're actually in Doctor Who. In the future, yeah, they're an actor and they're in Doctor Who. She's actually the Doctor, okay? This is her vision, her dream. It can be anything you want. What do you want? What makes you happy? What gets you excited? That's what you should draw. Okay, one more example. This girl here, she does horse riding now, okay? But in the future, oh my goodness, she's an Olympian. She's an Olympian, she's got the gold medal, and she's achieved her goal, her gold completely as a gold medal Olympian. So yes, It's whatever she wanted to do, and that's what she drew. So what about you? Back to you. What do you want to do? What is your dream? What is your goal? What is your gold? You know, there's going to be times on your journey when you're going to be struggling. Okay, you've got to realize that there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. There's going to be times when you're struggling to achieve a goal because there's barriers in your way. You've got to see those barriers as excuses, and you've got to turn those excuses into challenges. You must make sure that you're always aware of your vision. What is your vision? Draw a picture. Show me. Send it to me. We can sort it out. If we can maybe make a judge out of it, we can give you some feedback. But most of the time, all the time, you must always be the best that you can be. Because if you're the best that you can be, then you'll have no regrets. And if you have no regrets, I believe and I know that you yourself will achieve your goal, your gold. Thank you very much.